Welcome to Upper School Chapel. Please set aside your phones so you are able to focus on today's service. Today we will have 4 senior speeches and a presentation from the students from Argentina. First up, we have Hunter MacArthur. Hunter has been a student at St. Stephen's for 1 year. During his time here, he has served as an executive editor on The View, and he is on the Hamilton and Jefferson Society. Please welcome Hunter.
Good morning. It was January 29th, 2024, an average Monday morning in downtown Bradenton. Birds were singing, the sun had just risen, and I was sitting at a red light admiring the morning glow on nearby buildings. I turned to check and see if the light had changed to green, and that's when it hit me. The sickening crunch as tempered aluminum bit into galvanized steel, the screeching of tires, the howling of car horns, and the popping of airbags filled the air. I sat there for a second, in complete shock. Crash detected, the car helpfully chimed. 911 has been called. Please exit the vehicle. I turned to my sister, yelling at her to get out of the car, as I could see the smoke coming from the red Toyota behind us. I opened the car door and quite literally fell onto the pavement, my legs failing me. I had a singular objective on my mind: get my sister to safety, no matter the cost. I wrenched the door handle and propped myself up, forcing my legs to move through, sheer force of will. I took my sister and moved her to the side of the road, where a nurse was standing. Apparently, the red Toyota that I had been pushed into was carrying 2 nurses returning home from a 36-hour shift. When I was certain my sister was out of immediate danger, I returned to the pileup. The scene was nothing short of horrifying. A Chevy van had hit my truck head-on, pushing it some 40 feet backward and into the red Toyota mentioned before. Another car, a white Civic, had also been damaged somehow and was on the side of the road with its engine smoking. A brief aside to all the parents in the audience: let your kids play video games. I neglected to mention that in that half-second window of me seeing the oncoming van and the collision, I had enough foresight from my many hours of playing car-related video games to take my foot off the brake, allowing the wheels of my Bronco to move backwards and distributing the force of the impact amongst the 3 cars instead of my car taking the brunt of it. Here's a picture of the accident. As you can see, my car didn't crumple that badly. This is because it was pushed backward, and as such, the injuries sustained by my sister and I were, although still serious, not fatal. Back to what happened though. A bystander told us that there were 3 men in the van that hit me, and when the collision occurred, they jumped out of their vehicle and ran, disappearing into the city. Another bystander found some empty and half-full beer bottles in the car. You can draw your own conclusions from that, but personally, I think they were drunk. I retrieved our possessions from the car and set them on the sidewalk near my sister as the police arrived on the scene. I was interrogated about what had happened until a number of bystanders came forward and placed the blame squarely on the individuals who fled. My parents reached the scene about 20 minutes later, my mother flying into the nearby clinic that I had been hit in front of, looking terrified. My father maintained his composure and kept his cool, but I could see the genuine fear in his eyes when he looked at the wreckage. As my sister and I were whisked away to the ER to get looked at, I closed my eyes and had one thought running through my mind: thank you. I'm still finding my way through my religious journey, and there is no doubt in my mind that my guardian angel was sitting next to me during that accident. I was speaking with my dad outside of the hospital later that day, and what he said to me I will never forget. God was there with you, son. And although I nodded and agreed with him, the full weight of what he had said didn't really hit me until that night as I was lying in bed. I brought my head out from my pillow, leaned over to the small cross I keep on my bedside table, and whispered thank you. Speaking of you, Dad, you've been my rock, my confidant, and the best father a son could ask for. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dad. I love you. Mom, I know I wouldn't be here without you. You've always been a shoulder to cry on, although you end up crying more than I do. Thank you, Mom. I love you. To my brothers, Tommy and Jed, thank you for having my back whenever I need it. I love you guys. And to my friends, all those who could be here and who couldn't, thank you for being there for me. And all the teachers and mentors who helped me become the man I am today, thank you. And for you, Charlotte, only you and I really know what that day was like. I know it was a blur for you, but I'm so grateful we're both okay. I love you. Thank you.